Hello, and welcome back to Star Wars Minute. It's the daily podcast where we analyze, scrutinize, and celebrate the Star Wars movies, 1 minute at a time. I'm Pete the Retailer from PeteTheRetailer.com.
I'm Alex Robinson from AlexRobinson.fun.
And I'm Jeff May from PeteTheRetailer.com.
It's true.
No. Poop. I screwed it up already. Hey, it's me. It's Jeff May. I'm a podcaster. You've heard me on a lot of them. Like a lot of them. Also stand-up comedian, and you may have seen me on Netflix's bullshit, where I secretly won, but they edited it out. But
so you were still on, but they edited out the win?
Yeah, they made it look like I was a loser, but I wasn't, and I won some money. But yeah, no, I'm a professional nerd. That's what I do. I host panels. I do all sorts of things, and you can find me. I'm easy to find.
Yeah, well, we're happy to find you here with us today.
I know. I was supposed to do this show so long ago when you guys were in LA for a minute, and then it was just, we couldn't get it done. And I was like, hey, I would love to do Solo. I love that movie.
Perfect.
I'm one of those that really loves this movie.
The Force brought us back together in time to get in on Solo.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's bring up the minute, and then we'll get into the Solo and all the stuff, all the good stuff. We're talking about today, minute 96. 96 starts with Kira remembering that it didn't work, and it ends with Chewie and the gang offloading their haul. Offloading
that sweet, sweet haul, baby.
Yeah. Now we get just the tail end of the Kessel Run here.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeff, what's your take? Are you happy that the Kessel Run is in this movie?
I am. Like, here's the thing is sometimes, like, retconning is sometimes really annoying, but with the Kessel Run, the way it was originally written, and you're just like, that's not how that would work. And then to find a way to fix it is one of those things. Like, I know that not every retconny fix of Solo worked, but this one works. They figured it out. They knew how to make that work. And, you know, if you're going to be dealing with the spice mines of Kessel, you're going to have to do that run in less than 12 parsecs, or else this stuff's going to explode.
It's about to explode, but it doesn't.
I have some closing thoughts on the Kessel Run.
They're closing like 2 Carbonbergs.
Yes, just as my thoughts are. Well, first of all, just that specific image of the 2 Carbonbergs about to smash into each other.
Julius
to
and
me,
Ethel.
Evoked too soon. They evoked the closing of the when the cave was collapsing in Empire Strikes Back. It was a similar kind of thing.
Outside of almost the Anawat system.
The Anawat?
The Anawat system, I believe.
Oh, right.
Wasn't the Lando system? Oh no, Lando's not a system. He's a man.
Yeah, that's a man.
So Han makes the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs, like, with no planning whatsoever, and he's not even driving his own ship. Can no one else beat it? Like, you think if someone was really like, you know what, I'm going to really be determined to be the person who runs this the fastest, it would be like a special lot. You know what I mean? Is it that big of a deal if a guy can just do it on his first try with, you know?
If it's reckless. He did a reckless thing. It's like some Evel Knievel thing where it's like, I don't know if you were supposed to try it that way, and nobody is going to try it that way ever again. He's like, I did it in less than 12 parsecs. It's like, yeah, but you almost exploded literally everybody there.
Yeah.
I like the idea of Han, like, thinking now that he's a great pilot and doing a lot of crazy things and not being able to pull it off, which I guess is kind of the summary of the rest of the movies.
Yeah,
I do like the idea that Han is a lot more smoke and mirrors than we've because when we're introduced him, he's like, ooh, he's a badass space smuggler and he's so good and everything.
Cold blood. He kills a guy in cold blood.
I kind of like the idea that he actually sucks. And he's just created this myth. It's like, oh, you've never heard of the Millennium Falcon? It's like, dude, you're drinking at the worst bar. Right. Like, clearly he's like this loser that is seeing these guys as a rube as rubes in A New Hope. And I like the idea that, you know, everyone's like, Han Solo's the greatest. He's the best pilot of all time. And it's like, is he, or did he just kind of tell you that he was and you believed it?
It's kind of maybe alarming how in retrospect some of our coolest icons as kids were actually kind of like losers, like Han Solo, Arthur Fonzarelli. Yeah, he's the guy who lives above the garage at the Cunninghams.
You know, the
he's so
30-year-old
cool.
man that hangs out with all those teens.
Yeah. The sweat hogs, all these people that we looked up to as kids were like dopes.
I remember that thinking that way with like Beavis and Butthead when I was a kid. Like seeing them and being like, they're cool, or like, ooh, I'd be scared if I met them. And then you look at them now and you're like, oh man, these are just, I didn't realize at the time that they're supposed to be losers.
Yeah.
Aren't we all?
I mean, I feel like it was ingrained.
So maybe
in
that's
my
why we
DNA.
still love Han Solo. It is because he's a cool loser. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a more human, relatable, attainable goal as opposed to like James Bond, who's like this perfect, machine who has.
Well, they're trying to make James Bond a little more human too. Which
That's a mistake.
I know.
They need to, you can't humanize an icon.
I like the idea of Han being like a diet con man. Like that's what I like more, because it's not like James Bond is fallible. Like it's like, oh, he got his ass beat in that one. But with Han, I like the idea that he's just lying through his teeth about his skill most of the time.
Right.
And like, I mean, we see shades of that, and I don't know if that was Lucas's intent, but like when he's trying to hotwire the gate open and it closes the extra security gate in return, and you're like, oh man, he's just completely full of it. And I really like that idea, that sort of con man vibe for Han Solo.
I would say more exaggerating than lying. Like, I don't think he's outrightly kind of making stuff up. I think he's just kind of like, he wouldn't think of it as lying. He would think of it as just kind of like, I'm exaggerating. Or
bravado, yeah.
Yeah. I think he believes a lot of what he's, what he's doing is possible or.
Yeah. And I think it probably goes a lot to the relatability. Like Harrison Ford clearly is a guy who plays like put upon, like, Indiana Jones is the same way. He's not like he's much more competent than Han Solo, but he's still a much more human guy than like James Bond.
It really does, because like
Indiana Jones
is like a successful person at his job.
Yeah,
and Han is kind
two
of
jobs,
a
really.
loser.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
and I prefer him as a loser. Like, I genuinely do. And I know he's super cool, and we look at him, we're like, oh, he's so awesome and everything like that. But I remember, and Danny Fernandez made a great joke one time on a panel where she just said, Han Solo is just a guy that lives in his car.
Yeah, with his dog.
With his buddy, in their van or whatever. And I do
works
like
for a
that.
giant worm.
Well, yeah, and he's like on the run from this, and he's like hiding from people because he's ripping people off. All that. He's like a loser.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
surprised he's not a spice addict.
They were saving that for the third movie. The third one, it got darker and grittier in the third movie.
Yeah, it's Solo because he's all alone now.
The lost years of Han Solo.
Yeah, right.
So Low. That was the name of it.
Oh, I get it.
So do you think we'll ever see someone beat Han Solo's record for the Kessel Run?
Oh, I don't know.
Will we ever
Did
see
Dash
it?
Rendar make the attempt?
He did the off-brand, whatever the off-brand version of the
Right.
Kessel Run is. He did the
Kellogg's
Hydrox
run. Yeah.
the Hydrox Run.
Oh, that's so unfair to Hydrox. They were first.
It's true.
But yeah, you're right. Yeah, the Kirkland brand Kessel Run. The
Right.
Kirkland Run. There it is.
Yeah, they got
Right.
the Kirkland Run. Perfect.
Or the Trader Joe's brand hyperspace maneuver, whatever it's called. There.
Yeah.
Let's see. Rendar marked a map of the Kessel Run. Let's see. Is this canon? Dash Rendar is in canon, huh?
No, he's Legends.
There's a canon entry for Dash Rendar. He does something.
Ooh. Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, he's first mentioned in the 2018 journal book Solo, A Star Wars Story, Tales from Vandor, which we've brought up before, written by Jason Fry, who also wrote the novelization of The Last Jedi. And his inclusion in the book was meant to be a humorous nod to the character's reputation for being extremely similar to Han Solo.
It's very appropriate that he was introduced, that he was snuck into continuity based on a movie that was already kind of like, well, it's not Harrison Ford, you know what I mean? It's like the off-brand Han Solo introduced Dash Rendar. It's perfect.
His Jodo cast is his arch enemy.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
A couple of GoBots. In Zero BBY, Dash Rendar was delivering cargo from Kessel to now Hutta, the Hutt homeworld, and decided to attempt to break Han Solo's record for the Kessel Run, a notorious smuggling route along the edge of the Maw black hole cluster. This is Legends now. As the Outrider approached the Pit, an asteroid field at the start of the Kessel Run, it was pulled out of hyperspace by an Interdictor class cruiser. So it was about to, he was like, all right, we're going to go break the Kessel Run record, and they got pulled out by the Empire. But
that's like getting pulled over while you're revving your engine at a stoplight.
But then they escaped the Imperial ambush, breaking Solo's record for the Kessel Run in the process. But the secondary hyperdrive soon failed, leaving them stranded on the edge of wild space. So
he beat it. Congratulations to Dash Rendar.
According to
at what cost?
Yeah, they never heard from him again.
To be completely honest, I pretty much was very distracted once you brought up Zero BBY.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, what is so Zero BBY the time like 1 year before the Battle of Yavin?
I'd say it's within BBY. 360. It's probably in the same calendar year.
It's the year that the Battle of Yavin happened.
Yeah, that August or that space August.
So with that right in the center.
Well, it's during that year.
It could have been during the Battle of Yavin. Imagine if you're the Imperial ship that's pulling over smugglers,
right?
And you get in on the thing like, oh hey, we got a message. Oh, we need to hurry up and get to Coruscant as soon as possible. Nope, Alderaan.
Oh no, wait,
that's not there.
Too late. No, home is destroyed. Never mind.
When Luke Skywalker is filling out his paperwork to go to go fight in the Battle of Yavin, what did he write down for the date for like the year? Was it? Like,
oh yeah, so like I don't know if they used
the Gregorian 6 hours
calendar.
BB, but I mean, does that count as the year? Do they count that?
His watch? 6 hours BBY.
Well, that's did Christ sign his name? And he was like, okay, sign it, Jesus Christ.
Well, that's the first time. He did it. He was like AD. Like, what does that stand for? He's like, you'll see.
Yeah, you'll get it.
And then there was a guitar lick. Same thing with the Battle of Yavin.
Savareen.
Yeah,
Savareen.
Red 3, you thought it was Biggs Darklighter? Jesus Christ, actually.
There you go. Oh,
wow.
Now
it got shot down and just came right back.
I think, Alex from Star Wars Explained would say they're very similar. And
both have mustaches.
There you
go. Both grew up on Tatooine.
Lived in deserts.
Yeah.
Were followed around by whiners.
We're in the military.
Savareen, did I already say it sounds like a nasal spray or something?
Oh,
Savareen? Yeah.
Right.
It sounds like some kind of medicine.
Yeah. And we talked about Savareen, too, the coffee brand, which I think it still exists. We looked it up last time.
Much different than Sovereign 7, which was Chris Claremont's attempt at an image book. Yeah.
Post X-Men.
Oh, man.
I had forgotten about Sovereign 7.
I'm here to remind you, baby.
So the first thing we see on the planet is our good friend Dhoar Repareed.
Okay,
that is the leisurely gentleman we see sitting in that little office. It's I don't know what it is, little creaky.
Yeah,
right. He's
apparently should have been a harmonica playing when we saw that in there.
He's apparently an air traffic controller, so that's why he was hearing all that stuff on the radio.
Right.
And apparently, according to the Solo official guide,
I was waiting for that to come out.
He spent it's a easy job there because they don't get much traffic, so he spends spends his time daydreaming. And I was like, what a out of all the horrible things we see going on in the Star Wars universe, this guy might be the happiest, the only happy person we've ever seen who's like spends all his time daydreaming at the air traffic control place.
Yeah, so, I mean. I don't know if it's happy. Like Luke Skywalker was daydreaming to get the hell off of Tatooine. I wouldn't have been like, what a happy kid.
Although I'm sure he might look back at that and go, you know what? That was the time I was the happiest.
I mean, I will say
before all this fell on me.
He did about 3 years after ABY when he's like, I was born in this hellhole, right?
Right.
Right.
Well, doesn't the Last Jedi novelization have a scene where he's he's like
having,
imagining what life would have been like if he had never left Halloween.
Yeah, he's like living with Cammy on a moisture farm, just living his life.
Yeah.
And not realizing he would have been shot in the face by a bunch of Imperial troopers.
Or Ben Kenobi. You know, we gotta keep that in mind. Ben was like, well, he's not coming. We're gonna kill him.
Yeah.
Merciless.
That was no heart attack. Those Dolores weren't killed by Imperial stormtroopers. Yeah. But anyway, everyone do their own research.
Well, yes. I love this. I have no memory of what you just said this guy's name is, but they are traffic controller. I love him because he brings back that, you know, a lot of the radio communications in the original trilogy and in especially, you know, THX 1138. There's all that awesome kind of shortwave sound design. And this kind of brings that back in, and we get the signal kind of fading in and out, and a little of that like carrier wave stuff, and it's goodness. Makes me happy.
Question. How does he answer these people? Because spoiler alert, no tongue. Right? Weren't they all like butchered and all their tongues were removed or something like that? Wasn't that like a whole thing that unfortunately we don't cover it in our minutes, so I don't have that part of the story, but like wasn't that like a thing that they did to them?
You know, we might get to that. I have not that has not been revealed as of this point, but I don't remember that specifically, but I know at least one character had his tongue cut out, so maybe you're right, maybe it was everyone. Maybe they do mention that later on, I forget.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's hard to only address the 1 minute of that information.
Sure, right? Yeah. Okay, well, if you know for sure that is a good question. Maybe he has like a soundboard with like different like land, take off, land, stop, taxi, you know, different
He's got that things. Arnold soundboard from the 90s.
Right, yeah, totally.
We're at Crest Landing now. He's like, I'm a cop, you idiot. No, that's not right.
There is no bathroom.
Yeah.
I like that idea. But maybe it's like a very specialized position, so they let him keep it. I don't know if we see him specific. If they were just like, yeah, we take out all their tongues, except for that guy, because he's got to talk on the radio.
Or maybe he came after everyone had their tongues cut out, and they're like, perfect, we finally got an air traffic. All those ships will finally stop crashing.
Yeah, he was a free agent.
Get some business around here. Yeah.
Well, I do like him, and I like his sound. This whole thing has a little bit of a what?
Get his tongue cut out.
No, I didn't mean the sound of his radio.
Yeah, I like his vibes.
The whole thing has a very, it reminds me, and not in a bad way, of Star Trek V a little bit. Because Star Trek V has that kind of like desert in the beginning. We see a lot of desert planet. I forgot the name of that planet because I haven't watched it in a while. But
Cybox World.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's his spinoff.
Well, this whole Savareen, when watching this week of minutes, I definitely got a spaghetti western kind of vibe.
Well, yeah.
To it, and a villager hanging out in a rusty, junk-filled area is definitely like a very, especially when it doesn't talk, is very spaghetti western. This guy,
right?
So
yeah, it does definitely have that, and we see the versions of how that's going to be influenced in a little bit too.
Well, yeah.
So the Crimson Dawn apparently had many of the Savareen's tongues cut out after they did a rise up against them.
Gotcha. Many. So this guy must be one of the guys who was loyal. He stayed. He didn't rise up. He's like, hey, I got a cushy job as an air traffic controller. You want to throw that away?
Yeah.
For what?
Yeah. He's like, do you know what my benefits are?
I just get to sit.
I ain't in this for.
Yeah, I'm not going to get rid of this. This is a great deal.
Yeah.
I ain't in this. What is it? I ain't in this for your revolution. What does he say?
Yes.
What does Han Solo say to Princess Leia when he says
if you're going around carrying pictures of Chairman Mao?
That's right.
I remember that.
You ain't gonna make it with anyone anyhow.
A weird plot twist in Star Wars, but honestly, in retrospect, I respect it a lot more.
Yeah, it's they took some chances back then.
Yeah, anyway. So then the Falcon comes swooping in after we hear Han's garbled radio contact, and the Falcon comes swooping in, which felt like a very awkward shot to me. Like the guy looks to the left, and then the Falcon comes and he turns his head a different way. It seemed very like it violated one of those like director rule things where like crossing the
180 degree rule.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe wonder if part of that was this is the scene between the Ron Howard version and the Lord Miller. Like one had the Falcon coming in the other way, and they, you could that's the mark right there where they.
Right.
I love how they land so trashily.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Because at the same time, you're like, was this one of your problems? I don't remember this being. Are you sure you want to shake this stuff up while you're landing with it while it's so volatile to save yourself literally like 3 seconds? Maybe take a minute, sir.
You think that would be like cushioned or something, especially if ships are always landing there with coaxium.
That landing is rough. And especially if like you lost a landing gear or something while you were trying to escape the closing Kessel, the Kessel carbon bergs or whatever.
Like they probably lost the landing gear when they pulled that stunt back on that planet where they were sliding around on the ice and everything.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah.
Well, so I guess I'll answer my own question that I haven't asked yet, and I'll say that then this must be where Han gets the idea to add in the kind of airbag landing system that we see in the Star Wars Holiday Special. Because remember when they crash on Pana, like they have the airbags that come out of the bottom.
Like chitty chitty bang bang,
like to use, I guess, for a water landing, but you could also, I'm sure, use them to if the landing gear is broken off and you're coming in for a landing here, and that would help. But
classic.
Let's assume they didn't have them yet, and Han was like, you know what, we need something to help us in the case of a water landing or one of the landing gears.
In a way, you think all ships would kind of come equipped with airbags. In a way, you think it would be the kind of like bumper of spaceships.
Yeah, just a nice little soft landing in case you have to land in a sea.
Yeah. There's a lot of planets there. Yeah. Well, I like the idea though of them kind of going out and throwing over those little bumpers that are on a rope, like boats would throw over the side when they come and pull into the dock. The Falcon should have some of those too. Maybe they do.
Protective pontoon or whatever it is.
Some pool noodles.
Yeah, just a nice pool noodle. Mm-hmm. You're right. Like that's all you really need.
Yeah, just Chewie leaning out with the pool noodle to make sure it's in between the ship and the.
I love seeing the Falcon all wrecked up. I just think it looks so. I love battle damaged. Anything really.
I like the idea of them opening the cargo bay and just a bunch of terrible pillows fall out. It's like old, those like pillows that people have for when you stay over, and they're like maxi pad thin, with no support. I would like to see a bunch of those fall out of there. Or like gym mats. Like something very terrestrial being dropped out of there.
Or, it'd be funny if it was filled with pillows, considering that they could have used them to land on. But they were carrying pillows. It's kind of ironical.
Yeah.
Plus a bunch of, obviously, fast food bags, empty fast food bags and cups and stuff like that. Totally slide out of there.
What fast food do you think Han would go to? What do you think his go-to would be?
Does he have he definitely would have, it would have to be one that's got a mystique to it. It can't be like in every, like he wouldn't be like a, one of the ones that's everywhere. Wouldn't be like a top four. Wouldn't be a McDonald's. Wouldn't be a Wendy's. Wouldn't be a Burger King. I think he's got like maybe I'm thinking Fat Burger right now because it's got a little bit of a cachet, but it's still fast food.
It's shaped like the Millennium Falcon with a little olive next to it.
Right.
Whatever burger chain sells olives, that's the one that he goes to.
I'm thinking Jack in the Box. Because it's dirt food. Like it's bad. It's bad, and it's also like clearly stoner food.
Yeah.
And that's the vibe I kind of get from them anyway.
Pete, you can cut this out, right? Jack in the Box is one of our sponsors, so we can't have this.
Sorry, Jack.
I
like that in one of their commercials they snuck a bong in the background. It's one of my favorite things.
Have you guys seen?
Sound like Han Solo?
Total tangent. Have you guys seen what's been going on with Radio Shack lately?
I am living for it.
I think where I saw it. You retweeted it or something like that.
Oh yeah, because I was like, we turned our back on them, and this is what happened. We have only ourselves to blame.
Yeah, they have gone totally off the rails, and it's strange to see.
What is anyway? People can do their own research.
What were the rails? So when the Falcon crashes, we do get that. We got this a little bit when the the TIE fighter crash in The Force Awakens, a similar thing here where it crashes and you see parts rolling off of it. And I kind of almost wanted a Jawa to run out and scavenge it, but we're...
It's a Houdini, like
Right.
they always do whenever they appear for 1 second.
Yeah.
And the Jawa walks out and it says Utini and looks at the camera and everybody's like, woo, and claps.
It points at the camera, winks its one little glowing button eye.
Cracks open a cold Miller Lite. I have a great ending for the movie. Yeah, I love that shot where it goes, the Falcon comes crashing in, and then the music kind of builds up, and then it has almost like that, not quite like a needle drop, but everything just like the sound and the Falcon and the music all stop at the same time. It would have been great if they waited a beat and then the Falcon totally blew up, and then they cut to Harrison Ford telling the story to like Rey, and she's like, "Wait a minute, how did the ship blow up with the Falcon still around?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't know." And then Chewie and I sold the coaxium, and then then that would be the end of the movie, and then we'd be like, "What?" We wouldn't know what was really true or anything like that. So
I like the
we can still get on it. I'm sure we could convince Harrison Ford to do it if you just give him enough money.
Right.
So
I like the idea. It's like Zabriskie Point. It's just like it blows up and we're just watching it blow up in slow motion from like 10 different angles.
And then the credits
the
start
end of the movie,
rolling.
And at the end, it's just Lando's head that comes at you,
Oh.
like the opening title sequence from Mad Max, where it comes right at it.
That would be the post credits. Sting.
Yes, I like that idea. I'm all for it. If somebody feels like making that, I support it. Emotionally, not monetarily, but you know, I'm here for you.
Yeah, I love that, and it's just like they do that, like the hooking the coolant or the refinement process up to it, and they make like a big deal of it, and it's like, yeah, man, we got it,
right?
Yeah,
yeah.
They give you that like the gas tank eye view of them putting in there, and you're like, yeah, okay, that was a necessary shot you needed to put in.
Yeah, it's a another kind of new things added to the language of Star Wars, because we had a lot of like hoses and stuff getting attached in the original trilogy, but it was never from that point of view. So now it's like, oh, well, I don't want to shoot it from inside the gas tank.
It felt very Edgar Wright-ish, that kind of like like that quick sequence of different things. Like sometimes do that with like Shaun of the Dead with anyway.
Yeah, they should have done it Raimi style, where you just only view it through the gas tank for the remainder of the movie, and it just moves around all the time.
Or like stay in there for a while, and the coaxium's been getting pumped in, and it's going all over the lens. And...
Yeah, it's like green. So the shot at the minute ends with like a close up of Chewbacca, using the pump or connecting a hose or something like that. And the first thing I thought of was his hands are totally going to smell like coaxium. And is that a pleasant smell or an unpleasant smell?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, because you got to wonder. Like, you got a little on your like, what do they use? Because I don't know. Sanitizer's not going to get that stink out. Does he have to Febreze himself?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe just trims off the as it gets to a point where he just has to like shave off that part and let it regrow back in. Just
regular dude hands on this giant Kashyyykian space ape,
and like up to his elbows too, because he got it splashed all over.
You think there would be situations where Chewbacca would like want to be wearing gloves if you're maintaining a spaceship? Yeah, there's all sorts of disgusting, dirty things.
Han's wearing his gloves.
But do you think Chewie? Can he wear gloves? And do you think we'll ever see him wearing gloves?
Bandolier only. It's the only article of clothing that he accepts, and that's specifically out of an offensive function.
Right.
I like the idea that Han tries to put them on him, and he it's like trying to put a sock on a dog, like the dog's like let go of me.
It'd be funny if he just in English was like, "Dude, what are you doing? This is against my religion."
Yeah, I mean that's what I mean. Or maybe it's like, would a glove feel uncomfortable, like against the fur or something? Would it be?
Yeah, he wouldn't. He'd be all like floppy hands trying to like get it to go in there, and he was like, I can't do it.
He's also a mechanic and pilot. It's like, dude, you gotta protect those hands, man.
That's true.
He must use that orange pumice pump. You just see him do that you get at a garage, where it's that like really satisfying like high grit soap.
Remember? I don't know if you guys
nice bar lava.
Right. Lava. I was gonna say lava, man. Yeah. Do they still make lava?
I think so.
Oh, I think they'll always make lava. Yeah. That's one of those things.
Let us know in the comments below. Buy some.
That apricot scrub that you've never seen a commercial for, but is in everybody's shower.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Weird.
St. Ives, man. That company's got to be the richest company on the planet.
Eerie.
Hmm.
They sponsor?
Not yet, but I'm going to write that down.
Yes.
They clearly have the money. I mean,
There you
Yeah.
go.
we all know the apricot sand that we rub on our faces once or twice a week,
Gets everywhere.
Hmm.
right? The official sponsor of everybody's guest bathroom.
My last question for the minute, following up on the air traffic controller thing, what civilian job do you want in Star Wars? Let's leave bounty hunter out of it. Let's leave fighter, all that cool stuff that everyone would answer. Let's, like, assuming you were living in the Star Wars universe, what job would you like to have? I'm going to say air traffic controller.
Yeah, that guy's got a good, sweet gig right there. As long as nobody threatens to cut his tongue out.
I feel like working in hospitality at one of those casinos would be pretty dope.
Oh, like a. Would you want to be like a dealer, or do you want to do more like management level?
Hospitality. What
But like-
I mean, like not a dealer per se, or maybe like I would like to be a bartender, but only in one of those casinos.
Where they don't serve droids.
Well, what it really comes down to is every time we see a bartender in like a cantina or something, their place is about to get destroyed.
Right.
But I
True.
feel like
Good
at a
point.
casino, it's relatively safe, all things considered,
Although,
not counting a stampede of space goat farm.
And if you can handle the ethical considerations of dealing with war profiteers too.
I mean, they do sponsor the show, right? So
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
War
Jack
is
in
also
the
a
Box.
sponsor. So.
yeah, we're sponsored.
Jack in the Box, St. Ives, and War.
But I feel like financially that would be rewarding, and also I feel like you'd be able to do pretty well romantically with that gig.
Oh, you get a lot of
That's
different
it.
exotic clientele coming through.
You just
That's what
do
I'm
it.
talking about.
Yeah.
Maybe some, floating fish lady.
You do it for a little while. You meet a nice, rich socialite. And then that's your ticket. There you
There-
go.
A dowager. You need to meet a wealthy dowager.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
it. Like I tried to say this as forward thinking as I could without saying the phrase prostitute. But that's what I would.
B.
There I am. Put me in there.
You're like
All right.
like a space Anna Nicole Smith. You'd be out there. You do your thing, and then hook up with somebody, and then boom, you're set for life.
I'd be like, hey y'all, give me your oil, your coaxium money.
Things worked out for her, right?
Yeah, I think so.
They sure didn't. For like for about 40 minutes.
It's more
Like,
than some
there-
people get.
There was like that. It was like the post trim spa, but pre terrible, awful thing happening.
Well, that's all I got for minute number 96.
Me too. This kind of continues. We got a lot more Savareen coming up. Jeff, can you come back tomorrow? We're gonna do some more of this.
I planned on it, so
Okay,
I'm glad
good.
you invited me because that wasn't going to change.
No. Well, that's the you'd be surprised at the action that couch gets sometimes when people don't realize that they're we're not letting them in the next day. But you're invited. You're invited back. So
I'd love.
We
to
have a
see
very thin pillow for you to
Yeah.
lay on if you want.
I look forward to throwing out one of my back muscles while using it as a
muscles.
as a-
Wow.
for
Listen
support.
to Captain Exercise.
Hey.
well.
Call
If
back.
you want to, you want a pillow that won't throw your back out, why not go to StarWarsMinute.com/merch? We sell pillows because they're one of the things that are offered at our Threadless shop. And you can get them with a bunch of different Star Wars Minute designs on them. So go check it out, buy a pillow, come back tomorrow for a brand new Star Wars Minute.
Star Wars Minute.
Star Wars Minute.